Hello, everybody, and welcome to Elevate Your Life podcast number 67. Wow. My name is Paul Croto. I'm here with Cheryl Morley.
6, 7. Oh my gosh. Okay, Paul, this is a really good one today. This is really some great information that I love talking about, actually.
Well, it's Thursday and it's Leadership Day. So,
that's my favorite.
Yeah. So what's today's topic, Cheryl?
Today's topic is simply the key to leadership is priorities, right? And I think, that's what it is. Priorities. Maybe we should get those priorities in order.
That is everything. And so we're reading out of the book, Developing the Leader Within You 2.0. So it's the new version, or the newer version, I should say. It's been out for a while now. This is the second best-selling book that John Maxwell ever wrote. The best one, obviously, being the 21 Laws of Leadership. But this book is just packed jammed with great ideas, and super excited to be here with you, Cheryl, to share these great ideas with other people and give our spin on them.
Yeah.
I love how John starts out, Cheryl, with the describing, because people want to come to time management seminars. Teach me about time management and how ridiculous that thought is.
Yeah. Oh, it's ridiculous. And I never liked it from day one. Never liked it. No, I'm serious, because I think in some way I realized exactly what John's saying. How are you going to manage something that is set? How are you going to manage something that's going to actually go by itself no matter what you do? How are you going to manage that? Right? It's going to go whether you want it to or not. Oh, I'm a manager. Stop doing that. Stop, manager, stop doing that. Oh, well, it's not stopping, Paul. It's not stopping. It continues on.
You can look at the clock all day and tell it things, but it ain't listening to you. It's going to keep on ticking.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, I just find that fascinating that, that we're just hearing about that now so that I can finally feel good about it.
It is a popular term out there, but the whole key to this chapter is not time management, but priority management.
Right. Yeah, that's a whole nother deal. That is a whole nother deal. And John talks about it. And how to get your priorities, I guess, in line is by using the Pareto Principle.
What is that, Charles? What's the Pareto?
Well, listen, that is so interesting. So it's 20% of your priorities will give you 80% of your return. Wow. Yeah. That is so interesting to me.
It is. And I heard this years ago, and I've been practicing it literally daily for myself. And it's life-changing when you finally realize that you don't have to do all 10 things on your list. The top 2 things. And I had the mentality, Cheryl, that I want to get some wins in quick. Let me get some easy wins in. So I would get those few easy wins in, and then you know how days go. It's a whirlwind.
Right.
So I never get to the top 2 things. Yeah, I got 10 things done today, but they were the 10 things in the bottom of the list, not the 2 big rocks.
Yeah. And I think it's easiest to control what happens in the morning and what happens at night, right? Everything in between, no. Exactly. So to have these priorities in order, and to make sure that like you're saying, like what the big rocks are, like, well, what even are the big rocks, right? And I think you better know that, because if you don't know that, then I've experienced myself that if I don't know what the big rocks are, then, the smaller rocks are like whatever. But let me tell you, like the sand, the teeny tiny rocks, they seem to be screaming at me the loudest.
Yep. They always do to all of us.
The laundry, the kids, the this, the that, whatever. And so I think, and look, the big rocks, there's only a couple of them, 2 or 3 of the big ones, that we know of. And I think it's hard if you don't have those priorities set to just let all the other little stuff, like you're saying, come in, and then you just like start doing whatever you get pulled away to, or whatever the easiest thing is, right? And that's just the problem there.
It is. And well, I think greatest example, or one of the greatest examples, is this podcast. So we're on number 67 today. But Cheryl, I don't know if you realize this, but this is our 6-year anniversary together.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
It's a big day. I mean, we should have streamers and stuff going, and it's a huge day, but we only have 67 podcasts done. So for years, we wanted to do this and make an impact on people and get these recordings out there. But we didn't do it because, not that we were just sitting on the couch doing nothing. We were doing things, but they weren't those two top things that is now driving our lives, driving our mornings, is personal growth time. Nothing gets done before that. And then I make the notes, we shoot the videos, go over the notes together, have a great discussion. And then whatever happens with the rest of the day happens with the rest of the day. But we get those big rocks done every single morning, first thing. And that has made all the difference in the world.
Yeah, I agree. Know what they are.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I'm going to, I've been putting together this Notion sheet that I use myself. It has all my tasks listed, and it's just an easy list of things to do today. But I'm actually tagging each one now, either a big rock or big thing, a medium thing, or a small thing. So I have all my big things at the top, then it can do a sort, and medium things in the middle. And so every day I'm only picking up 2 big things. What are the 2 big things I'm going to do today? So I call it the 2-3-5 priority management system. The 3 medium things. And if I get to all 3 medium things, great. And then I have 5 small things. And, it's just, and again, I think before I was doing all this backwards. I was doing the 5 small things first.
Sure.
And not doing the 2 big things or the 3 medium things, and not feeling like I'm making progress in life. And it's amazing when you do the big things first, it kind of creates some momentum. So crushing the 2 medium things and even the 5 small things is no big deal because they're simpler. And later in the day, when you have less energy, it's easier to do the simple things. It's impossible to do the big things at 5 p.m.
Yeah, but one of my big things, Paul, would have to be tennis. I'm just kidding.
No, you get that, exercise. Like I've been, I love exercise, but if I get involved too much with work stuff and the craziness, then it's 8:00 and I got to do my cardio.
It's true. Oh no, that would never happen for me. At 2:00, I can look in the mirror and say, I think I look fine for today. I don't need to. I'm serious. I've done that before. So I'm like, no, it has to be in the morning. I have to have it done. I cannot, because literally I can hear myself saying, you're all right for today, do it tomorrow. And I'm like, no, I got to do it today.
So 2:00 is your witching hour there for work.
That is my witching hour.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this, my witching hour for doing anything big or even medium is 4:00. I don't want to do anything big or medium after 4:00. So get it all done before.
Yeah. But you can knock out a couple small things,
Oh, of course, because the small things are, hanging out with the kids or, writing an email or something like that. Right.
Yeah.
But no, nothing big. And I'm telling you, nothing medium.
Yeah.
After
I agree
4:00.
1,000%. So let's go over some questions to ask ourselves. And this first one, Cheryl, is the most important one, really the most important part of this whole podcast here. So the first thing you got to ask yourself is, what is required of me? But there's actually a deeper question. And if you're going to take notes or you want to see our notes, please check out the notes in the bottom in the description part. But what's the most important question you can ask yourself, Cheryl, when it comes to setting priorities?
Well, it's all about figuring out and knowing, what do I have to do that no one else can, right? So what do you have to do in your business or maybe even in your life, Paul? Because I know that, it even starts there, right? So what do you have to do? And as a mom, I know exactly what I have to do. Everything, right? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But, you have to know what you have to do that nobody else can do. And I think that's kind of hard sometimes, Paul. I really do. I think it's hard, kind of trying to figure that out and trying to decide. right? Because, and I know, and I've thought this a lot in my, in my business, I always think about, is it easier for me to do it fast? Or is it easier for me to train somebody, which takes time because I'd have to train somebody to do it, but is that a possibility? Right. And so I find it fascinating. And I, a lot of times, sorry to say, have really just decided that I'll do it fast, which is not beneficial.
No, not at all. And let's just take some easy things, Cheryl. So let's just take cutting the lawn. So I could save $50 by doing the lawn myself. Mm-hmm. However, I make $1,000 an hour. So it takes me 2 hours to cut the grass. So mathematically, it costs $2,000 for me to cut my own lawn when I could get someone else to do it for $50. Or washing your car. At my car wash thing, it's unlimited. It's like $20 a month I pay for unlimited washes. Well, it would take me 2 hours to clean my own truck. So to go through that in 5 minutes and pay the $20, it's just, so I delegate all, cleaning the house. I know you have someone come over also that does that, that work. Sure. And not that it's below us or anything like that, but if we have to, and Cheryl, I know you're the queen of this, of asking yourself, what can I get someone else to do? How can can I delegate this so you can do the things that are super important for Cheryl to do?
That is true. That's true. And I find that you need a team, Paul. You do. You need and I think that the most important thing is figuring out, which was always kind of hard for me though, figuring out what I have to do that nobody else can do. Right.
Yeah. It's
the most important thing. And I really encourage all of you to figure that out. And maybe it's, it goes or speaks to ROI, right? The return on the investment that you want to get. And I love that lawn mowing story because it's totally worth it. But, sometimes I think people don't know that in their lives. They're like, oh, well, I'll just do it. But really, is it better to have somebody else help you with that or do that for you so that you can do the things that are going to bring you more, return on your investment? I really, and that's something that I never thought about when I very first started out in business.
Right. And
so it's great.
It's everybody has to make up their own decisions, like what's important to them. And we're not judging anyone out there for if you do make a different decision, that's completely up to you because everyone has a different priority list in their mind. But Shell, I know you with 2 children that are 14. I mean, you've been really with your children for 14 years now. I mean, and we just had this conversation yesterday about how much time does it take to really build a great relationship with your child? I mean, is it 15 minutes? Is it 20 minutes?
No, it's not 15 minutes and it's not 20 minutes and it's not 15 or 20 minutes a day either. Let me just be clear on that. And here's the interesting thing about that, Paul, is well, here's the interesting thing about it. Again, it's what are your priorities, right? It's setting your priorities. And my priorities are going to be my kids first, right? I really believe that. Right. And family first. But the interesting thing to me is I always thought that the time that I spent with my kids would get less as they get older. Well, no, that's just not true. And I think when I had that mindset, that wasn't, I think that, and I do think that moms think that sometimes. My kids are little, but when they get a little older and when they go to school and when they do this, it'll be less and less and less. No, Paul, it's become more and more and more. And I think it might be different. It is different, like the way they need you. But it's like, I think moms out there have a real, I don't know, it's like almost like a string attached to the kids where, intuitively what they need and what you can do, to help them and how much time it takes to be there. And like right now, it's a lot of time for me to be with my kids. And I love that. And I love, and a relationship with my kids is super important to me. So of course I'm going to make that, one of my main priorities.
Yeah. So that's not something you're delegating off to somebody else to do. Hey, can you raise my kids for me?
No.
You're like, that's what no one else can do that but me, is what you're saying.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Which is the question we're asking here. What do I have to do that no one else can?
Yeah.
And it's raising my children, number one. Another one would be personal growth. Like nobody can read the book for you and put it
I
into your
wish.
brain. Like you got to do that yourself.
Is there something I can hook up to and just like get it really fast?
I've been trying to come up with that, but it doesn't exist.
That's exactly right. It doesn't, but that's okay.
Yeah, but we get to do that personal growth, turn around, and then what we're doing is we're designing and creating valuable content like these podcasts. Sure. And that is making a huge contribution to society and fulfilling our need of growth and contribution. So, that time of designing, creating, thinking, creating, being able to lead people to where they want to go. You talk all the time about helping women get from fine to fabulous. It's a big passion of yours. Nobody else can do that but you. You just can't tell someone else, oh, go help some women go from fine to fabulous. Like, it doesn't work that way. You're the person that does that. So, then the next question, Cheryl, is what's my return? So if I do these things that are required of me, what am I going to get in return?
Right. And I mentioned that before. And I kind of got ahead of myself because I do that sometimes, but that's exactly right. You have to understand, and just taking my kids, for instance, I mean, that is, what's the return I'm going to get? I'm going to have a wonderful relationship with my kids. They're going to feel like they can come and talk to me. And I'll tell you, my daughter, who's 14 years old, told me yesterday, Mom, I'm so glad that you're my best friend. Right. Yeah. And that's what it's all about to me. That's what I want. Right.
We all have this need for love and connection, and, sure. And you can feel how powerful that is, emotionally for you, that you have to have that connection, and it's a super high need of yours, I know, and super high need of mine. So we're getting this in return, and there's a reward. There's a reward for spending time with your children, for doing the personal growth, and for making these podcasts and providing valuable content to men and women.
Absolutely. And the reward for me, like, it's feeling that fulfillment and that significance, right? Yeah. I mean, that's what I want and it's fascinating to me when I've been learning all of these things, and Paul, you and I discuss these things constantly. It's so amazing that I'm able and you're able to do all of that in all areas of our life, which I think is so important. That's why Find a Fabulous is so important to me, because it's in every area of our life. It's not just, oh, well, in my family life, I have this, but I'm stuck here at a job that I hate. Right. Or I'm, or my spirituality is not good because I'm focused too much over here on this or on that. Yeah. And I feel so blessed and grateful to have all of those things in every area of my life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can be super successful. Well, how many times we see someone super successful but super unhealthy because they don't work out or take care of themselves, and I got time for that, and then you're dead, at 50. Right. So yeah, it's crazy. That's true. But Tony Robbins says that the ultimate failure is being super successful but not feeling fulfilled. Oh. And I think that fulfillment part is just as important, if not more important, than the success part of the fulfillment of making an impact on your children, making an impact on other people, making an impact on other women for you is sure. Where all the real joy. And we talked a little bit about the difference between happiness and joy. that feeling of joy inside of you that's for real.
Right. That's right. So absolutely.
So I know you love the next concept, which is the value of margins. Yes. Talk to us about the value of margins.
Oh no, please. Well, the thing that really, when I think about this, the only thing that I even think about is that your schedule can't be jam-packed all the time. Yeah. Well, what are you talking about? Right? Every mom out there would be like, oh, okay, you guys, what are you even talking about? Right? Because that's how it is. So I really believe that that's why it's so important to be able to delegate the things that aren't absolutely your two big rocks or crucial for you to do. And I'm telling you, you guys have to figure out what those are. And it took me, Paul, It took me a long time to figure out what the two big rocks are every day, or what are the things that I can do that nobody else can do.
Yeah.
Because, believe me, when you met me 6 years ago, I was doing all sorts of little rock things. And I mean tiny rock things. Right? For whatever reason, I couldn't figure out what the things were that I needed to do that nobody else could do.
Right.
So I was just running myself ragged doing whatever came, whatever slapped me in the face. That's what I always used to like to say. I'll get done whatever slaps me in the face.
Right.
And whoever can slap harder. Maybe that's not a good thing to say.
Especially after the whole Will Smith thing. We can't be talking about slapping here. Okay.
Just thought of that.
No violence here.
Oh, probably not slapping, but whatever hit me in the face. Oh,
right.
well,
Oh no, I totally
just
get that. But
Yeah.
Cheryl, one of the top things I'm so grateful for our relationship is people don't know this, but we do a 20-minute podcast. People are like, oh, they just ripped off a 20-minute podcast. But we actually spend hours before the podcast talking through things. And, you can sit by yourself and do some thinking. But I think, Cheryl, we do the best thinking when we're just talking to each other. And I throw something out, you throw something out. We bounce it back and forth a couple times. And then we come up with some real insight that we didn't know, an hour or two ago.
Right. And what I love is it's from two different perspectives, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you're male, I'm female, but also like we're close to the same age, but we're in completely different situations. Right. And so I love that because we can speak from different places, right?
Oh,
and I think that's so awesome.
You got 50 years of experience. I got 50 years of experience, just in life.
Yeah.
That's been different. And bringing all that together is just real special. Plus all the personal growth we've done separately, we bring that to the table. And we, I feel that we both have a ton of common sense. So we can take the information that we have and then apply it to like real life. And that's really what we want to do here. I think a lot of other podcasts out there, they're just concepts and they're pie in the sky kind of stuff. What we really aim to do is bring this down to earth for men and women, things you can do today and make a difference in your life.
Absolutely. I think that's super important because things sound really good, but once the hurricane hits and the tornado hits and life hits, then it changes everything, I think.
Yeah. So that margin time is that time to do your thinking and so I never, come up with great ideas in my office. It's always when I'm going to do something else, when I'm talking to you, Cheryl. I mean, that's super valuable time, but a lot of people, even us, we're like, listen, we can't chat as much. We got to start shooting more, and do this, but it's so valuable the time that we do spend with the margin time to that's when we come up with the best ideas.
Yep. And you need to do that. And I think you're right, Paul, not by yourself. It's good to have, to have a partner to do that with, and even a team, right? I love the whole team concept.
Yeah.
I love that whole, the whole idea that a team is much better than you being on your own.
Right. Absolutely. Well, the next part, there might be some controversy over, but, I think just by nature, all of us want to love everybody. And Cheryl, I know you're Mrs. Inclusive. Like I want to just include everybody all the time, I don't want to exclude anybody.
I do.
And me and John have different views on this. Okay. So, me and John are on the same page. We have different view than you have on the whole thing. Like we're not going to be all inclusive and we're definitely not going to give everyone equal time.
Right. Which I do understand that. And I think, we've talked in the past a lot about bringing what's happened in your past into the future, right? You don't want to do that. It's just the past is the past. And, but the reason why I want to be so inclusive is because I always felt like I was left out and I never fit in. So I don't want anyone to feel like that. So, and I think that that's fine in a party sense, like when you have a party or whatever, but when it comes to business and when it comes to, deciding what your two big rocks are, I guess, and getting your priorities straight, I do think it's really, really important that that you don't give everybody the same amount of time. Because Paul, let's be honest, if we gave everybody on our team the same amount of time, well, I can tell you right now, there's not enough time to give everybody the same amount of time.
Yep.
And that's really what the Pareto principle talks about, is that you need to spend 80% of your time with 20% of the people, right? And those are
the opposite. You want to spend. Oh yeah, no, you're right. You're right. 80% of your time with top 20% of people. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, and so and I think that that's so important to remember that. And I will tell you, Paul, that is definitely not what I did when I started in business.
Right.
And it created, and it created issues. But I will tell you this: one of my favorite things is the top 20% of your people don't necessarily need a lot of time, because they are busy working, doing the same things you're doing, which I think is so cool. So
yeah, one of the things that I did a while ago is I realized this, and I stopped answering the phone, because I love talking to people. I could talk on the phone all day long. People ask my mom all the time, "What does your son actually do?" She goes, "I'm not sure, but he's on the phone all day long, just talking." So I love doing that, but I had to stop. Like, I actually have put my phone on mute or do not disturb, which is the greatest button I've ever found on the iPhone.
Yeah, as long as I'm not trying to get a hold of you.
However, Cheryl got super mad at this. So I found a way to make an exception where only emergency contacts get through, and Cheryl's my emergency contact. So she can get through whenever she wants. But it's knowing, who's important to spend your time with and who's not, and deciding, because like Cheryl said, 80% of your time should be spent with the top 20%. Now, what I love what John said in this is the goal of the bottom 20%. So the bottom couple people in your life want to suck up 80% of your energy. That's so true. I mean, there's always that I see on my phone. Oh, he's calling again. Oh, she's calling again. And it ain't my top two people that are calling. It's two people are like, "Hey, Paul, you got all day? I need to talk to you about something."
Yeah. And that's hard. That's hard to deal with. And it's hard to, but I think that if you set your priorities, then that's not going to happen as much, right? It doesn't happen really too much to me anymore at all. But before,
it's being intentional. It's having the list of, if you have 50 people on your team or 50 people you interact with, you have to know right now who are the top 10. That's 20%.
Right.
So you got 100 people on your list. You need to know the top 20 of people that you are going to take the call from, that are moving the ball forward, whatever you do in life. And those are the people you want to spend your time with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's talk about the 3 questions that we need to be asking ourselves. So the first one is one that I've been saying this whole call, right? You have to figure out what needs to get done.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's just so important. And if you don't know what that is, take some time to think about that and get it written down so that you know what the big rocks are.
Yep. And I feel like a lot of people do that. They make these to-do lists up, but they don't do number 2 or 3.
Yeah. And that's where I think we run into a problem of not getting every single check mark checked, and then we feel bad. Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess I'll just put it on my list for tomorrow. I think that could turn into like a real issue. I just don't even have a list, Paul. I don't have anything written down. I'm kidding. I do now. Okay. Here's number 2. So here's the other one that Paul was saying, that these 2 things people don't do. So number 2, what things on this list can other people do? Super important.
Yeah, I don't think that's an intuitive question to ask when you got this big to-do list. You don't stop for a second and be like, who could I get to do the rest of this?
I like to start with, who can do all of this for me? I'm kidding. But I mean, that's true, that this is something that you really do need to figure out, because it's going to make you so much more productive, I guess is the word. Okay. So number 3, can someone else be trained to do this? And remember, I said it at the start, Paul, it's hard for me to figure out if I can just do it super fast, or if I have to take the time. I've got to find the patience to help them learn, so that it will take that off my plate. But I will tell you, you're very good at this. You're very good at training and knowing that you have to put in the time to make sure. And I don't know if that's because you own a bunch of restaurants. And in a restaurant, it's obvious to me that, oh, well, yes, you would have to train that person. And you send someone with a person to be trained. Oh, Joe's in training today. And, when the server comes, right, there's another server training. So that's kind of what it's like. You've got to train them and train them in a way that they can be successful. And then that will make you even more successful with the things that you have to do.
And even I think a better example of that is the coaching program. So for years, Cheryl and I, and we still are health coaches. I mean, I still have clients and you still have clients.
Oh,
Cheryl,
yeah.
I know but
yes,
we created a coaching program so that we could train somebody else to do the coaching. So now we have thousands of coaches out there helping people instead of just the two of us.
Right.
So that's a prime example of training someone else. Is it worth taking the time to train someone else? It's a ridiculous question. Of course it is. Because once you train them, they can do what you were used to do, and you can multiply yourself.
Yeah. Which is what is important.
Yeah. I mean, most people exchange time for money. And I know Angelica, your daughter, is completely against that. I know you are too. So instead of being, getting paid on 40 hours of work, which most people are paid on per week, you're paid on $400,000 or 400 hours of work a day or a week. Because of the leverage you have with the team you built.
Yeah, the concept is unbelievable. And let me tell you, more young kids need to understand that there's only so much time. And if you are trading time for money, there's only so far that you will get, right?
Yeah.
There's only so much money that you can make. There's only, and great. I mean, maybe you can make thousands and thousands of dollars an hour, which, come on, that's not very normal. Or that doesn't happen a lot of the time, but actually it can happen if you build a team and if you do it Paul, in the way that we have done it. So
which brings
so
me
awesome.
to, I just had a thought, Cheryl. This is, so what we're going to do now is we're going to actually make podcast number 68.
Yeah.
It's going to be called The Power of Leverage.
Yes.
But the real title of it is Brilliant Compensation.
Oh my gosh. And this changed your life. Yeah. This changed your life, Paul.
Yeah, I heard this and I quit my job the next morning, and that was 26 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's like the best story
since.
Ever. I heard this and said, and let me tell you, I wish I would have seen that when I was at Taco Bell, although it's fine. It's fine. I was at Wendy's too. And I love this whole idea of not having to do the salad bar every day. And just understanding the concept of leverage, I think will change everybody's life, would change your life. I mean, it has to. Yeah,
it is. If I could teach anyone one concept, I only was able to teach one concept in life, it'd be the concept of leverage.
Yeah.
Which ties right into what we're talking about today with the law of priorities here. So awesome podcast, Cheryl. I think we've had a lot of value to people's lives. And
wait, I want to say one more thing. Okay. I want to say one more thing.
Okay.
I want to say the thing that really made me understand the importance of training. Okay. So John says, and I love this, the only thing worse than training someone and having them leave is not training them and having them stay. How true is that?
So true.
That is so true, but I love it.
Yeah. So, because people worry about, well, I'm going to spend all this time training this person and they could leave. John's like, that's the least of your worries. What's the big worry is not training them and having them stay, which is really, really bad.
Yeah, that's super bad.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, Paul. This was fun. Thank you.
It really was. It was awesome. And we're going to be coming to you every single Thursday with some more leadership training. So Leadership Thursday.
And watch, understand, contemplate, and really get into your heart this whole leverage thing.
Yeah. Tomorrow's podcast number 68. We'll do it on Friday. It's going to be called The Power of Leverage.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank
Super
you,
awesome. All right. Have a great day, Cheryl.
Bye, you guys.